But Aaron Judge already in playoff form. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts for USA in the finals.
And he was 0 for 5 in the Yankees debut game, even though the Yankees won.
He stayed in playoff form.
Yeah. Well, Dave Winfield, back in the day, said, thought we were getting Mr. October. We wound up getting Mr. May. Steinbrenner was brutal.
Man. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to T.D.G.S. Sports. We are glad to be back. We took a week off, and we promise we won't let it happen again. However, man, I've had some fun reading some comments, guys. Now I gotta tell you, okay. One of the comments is that Charles and Easy E, we've had different thoughts on this. Okay, the question is that if we pick up Kyler Murray on the Vikings, do we get rid of J.J. McCarthy? Right.
Well, you got to pick up Kyler Murray so he can see over the counter. When you're buying some gum and stuff, right? So you got to pick him up and put him in his booster seat. So I'm sorry.
The question is, right? Okay, so correction, you're right. Kyler Murray will sit on the shoulders of J.J. McCarthy, literally, right? It's the whole stand on the shoulders of giant situation, right?
No, you don't have to be a giant.
But the question is are there situations where at the end of the season here, is there a situation where the Vikings go, maybe we won't get rid of J.J. McCarthy and we'll get rid of the little man?
I'll say it. Here's my thoughts on that is if Murray goes out there, he wins the starting job and balls out, and McCarthy can't get back on the field. So Murray would have to show a level that he did not show when he was in Arizona. That's really it. Being fair with him, and my height jokes aside, if he shows that he can ball out and be a legit starter, I think there's a good chance that the rookie deal that McCarthy signed with the Vikings may be the last deal he signs with the Vikings, and maybe anywhere else. We'll see. Like I said, he can't stay healthy.
So let's talk about the end game here of I can't ever remember the coach's name. Kevin McConnell. O'Connell. There we go. I don't know why I can't ever remember that guy's name. It's something about living in the 90s and late 80s.
You're stuck on the floor.
Yeah, I'm stuck on the floor, and God, fire him. I was talking to somebody at work, and they tried to make a case for Jordan Love, and I appreciate the case. The case was well made, well rounded, and
overruled.
What?
And overruled, right?
No. I said that was a good case. So the question is, if we get rid of LaFleur, does that happen with Love? Does Love figure out how to be a quarterback? Now we'll come back to that, right? We'll come back to that.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, let's go back to the little guy and the hurt guy, okay, and then the freshman quarterback, right? What is O'Connell's end game with this? This dude's picking up more quarterbacks than most teams have had in their entire dynasty, right? What's his end game? Is he planning on just developing a bunch of quarterbacks and not picking anybody else up?
Well, I think that the deal with getting Murray, first of all, I don't think Murray has to go too far back because his first couple of years with Arizona, he was balling, and that's what they're trying. That's what I think Minnesota's counting on, is that he gets to that. Give him that for 1 year because they only signed him for 1 year. He's only there for 1 year. They agreed for 1 year, so I think this year he is their starter. I think they're sitting back McCart, JJ. JJ's going to take a backseat to Murray, and he is going to be back into as a rookie, learning, patient with him, developing, and it's kind of like a tricky developing because I think if Murray goes back into playing the way he is capable of playing, and he is somewhat committed to the team, meaning he goes back and he's watching film and he's actually dedicated somewhat to being a true teammate and shows that he can be a leader on this team, is bye McCarthy. He's gone. I don't think they're key. I think they're going to extend because remember, Murray is just 28 years old. He's very young. So he's a kid, and he's got the skill, he's got the talent. It's a matter of getting him to be committed to showcasing his talent. And if he can play, if he plays what he's capable of playing, honestly, as a Bears fan, the one team I'm concerned about, because it's a question, and I had talked to you offline about this. I'm worried about the Vikings because the Vikings have a great defense, and they do have. And they do have the offensive weapons. And if that quarterback can give them some kind of quarterback play that they've missed last year, that they had with Sam Darnold the year prior, they're going to be a dangerous team. They're going to be a very dangerous team. And they're going to make the NFC North that much more interesting because now you have 4 teams because the Lions are trying to rebuild and come back. And you have the Packers are always competitive, and you have the up-and-coming Bears that made their state this last year, and they're retooling to come back stronger than ever. So it's going to be a 4-way battle for that division.
Yeah, the problem with Murray, though, you'll talk about those first 2 years. To me, when players come into the league, players who are talented, it takes defensive coordinators a couple seasons to figure them out. And to me, once Murray got, we'll call it solved, it was done at that point. He's never been the same since. They know about his speed and everything, but people know that he doesn't have the vision down the field. He makes his plays off of busted plays. That's when he does his thing. When he can get a play strung out to one side or the other, work his, we'll call it magic, and start running around, then maybe he can find someone. But in the pocket, he can't see over there. His only chance is to get out of the pocket and try to make something happen. So I don't really see him getting back to that form because I think defenses know about that form and they figured out how to counteract it. And, honestly, maybe the Vikings should have picked up Kirk Cousins in the offseason.
That's true, but the Arizona didn't really have a good coaching staff that could exploit his talents and build around an offense that could exploit what he had to offer. The Vikings have the tools and they have a good coaching system that can make plays to build around what he has to offer and make plays, develop plays for him. The same way Vrabel built around May and made plays. That's how they got to the Super Bowl. That's how they won games. He built around what May had to offer. May, if you look at May's stats, May, with all this MVP talk about May really wasn't a crazy, incredible quarterback play. He was in a system. He was in a system that they used his skill and they developed because he didn't have great running backs. He didn't have great receivers. It was just a system that they built. They used all his skills and they exploited everything that he had to offer. His running game, his short passage, and that's what they developed the game around. The offensive that he had was built around what he had to offer.
Well,
So hold on though. Let me play devil's advocate here, okay? Because I got 2 questions. Let's play this off both scenarios, okay? Is that if you pick up Kyler Murray, Charles, you're right. He made his time. He looked really good because busted plays. When you get out the pocket quick enough, you got a slow edge rusher. You got linebackers who seem to be planted in cement, right? So they're not moving downhill. They're not scraping up the line when he rolls out. They are just kind of flat-footed. You have edge rushers that suck, that get, you have that step block, that tackle can get the step block and get Kyler Murray out there, right? And so you have the broken plays where Kyler Murray shines. But what happens if they plan on it? Because the key word is, in fact, the program, the system that he's in. So what happens, though, if he gets into the Vikings and he turns into, dare I say it, and I'm going to, is that he turns into Russell Wilson, who Russell Wilson was good
at. Russell Wilson?
Huh?
Which version of Russell Wilson?
Okay, so let me finish. Is that he's really good at Seattle, right? Seattle, Pete Carroll at the prime had a great program, took him to the Super Bowl, put him in the system that worked, and whether or not that was because he was stealing game film of other, teams, we can ask that question later. But the fact of the matter is that was a program. Russell Wilson inside other teams and every team he's been on since he got booted from the Seahawks, he has been had little to show for his ability to play because he's a great quarterback. He just looks really bad. It's the same thing like the the Garoppolo from San Francisco. Great for that Super Bowl team, gotten everything else and sucked. So what happens if Kyler Murray jumps in here? Who is I'm going to agree with you, Easy. I'm going to agree. Okay, I'm going to say that Kyler Murray is good, and Charles, I'm going to say he's good because it's broken plays that he's good on. Right? He is the that quick quarterback. But what happens if he turns into Russell Wilson or Garoppolo, where it's not the program for him? And really, Vikings, Addison, I don't know if he's off or if he got that he got arrested earlier, so I'm not sure whatever happened with that.
Addison is gone, but I think his biggest weapon on the Vikings is going to be T.J. Hawkinson. Hawkinson is going to be his biggest weapon on that one, and Hawkinson is going to be the biggest beneficiary of this because Hawkinson was after his injury, he was basically non-existent for the last year and a half. He was underused, but he's going to be Murray's security blanket, and that's going to open up for Jefferson because once they close out on Hawkinson, it's going to open up for Jefferson. They have Jones is back. Aaron Jones is back. So they still have that 1-2 punch with Jones and Mason. So they have the running game. Plus he can run. So they're going to have a decent running game. So that's going to open up. And I don't know who else they have at wide receiver right now. I know they lost Addison. But doesn't matter really who they have because he's not a 3-target guy. He has all he needs is Jefferson, Hawkinson, and his running game. That's all he's going to rely on, and that's all he really needs.
Well, I think you got to look at with the Vikings, and I always look at situations like this where, okay, what is the team ultimately trying to do? Now, would Murray be enough to get you to beat the middle of the road teams? Quite possibly. He could. I mean, out of a 17-game season, will he get you 8, 9, maybe 10 wins? Possibly he will. But when it comes right down to it, when he has to play the cream, the best teams, he's not going to be the guy who's going to get you past those teams that don't have the weaknesses that he can exploit. So it's about, are you building a team to just be competitive, or do you actually have championship aspirations?
Well,
I think right now the Vikings are just trying to get back into a playoff picture and see what he can give them, and they'll make a decision at the end of the year whether that's why they only made a 1-year deal. They're going to see if he is the guy when they have those matchups against teams that are the cream of the crop. See what his skill level shows, how he fares in those games. And I think based on that, they're going to make a decision whether, okay, we're going to keep him and let JJ McCarty go, or no, we're going to stick with our guy, or maybe even go in a complete different direction. Because they still brought back Carson Wentz is back.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, they got a full quarterback room.
Yeah, and that's why I think JJ McCarthy, I think he's going to be their third string. I don't think he's even going to end up being there when season starts. I think he's going to be their third string. He's going to be in a practice squad. You have to develop.
That sounds like an Army surplus store.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But look at it though. So right, you have the broken plays aspect. So is O'Connell going for the Lamar effect, right? Oh, are we all drinking at the same time?
Well, you got to look at the GM. Let's not just talk about the coach. We got to look at the GM and president of the organization, what they're trying to do. O'Connell has to use what's on the field. But what are they doing? They're the ones signing his contract, not O'Connell.
So let's talk about this, okay? So here we go. Here's your scenario, your perfect scenario of what Kyler Murray is going to be able to do, and this is what I would trust would happen. Is that over the past 3 or 4, 5, I'm going to say 5 seasons, is Justin Jefferson has underperformed not because he has been bad, but because he has been really the only weapon. Addison's a good relief guy. Addison's done his job as the check down, but you have Jefferson who has had a full time, coverage. It's whether it's been man or you've had the secondary who essentially create the umbrella over him and create that zone underneath him, right, which prevents that pass from getting to him. Are they thinking that the way to solve that and get Jefferson the ball is to have those broken plays with Kyler Murray, get him out of the pocket, freeze those linebackers, pull those corners down off of Jefferson and try to get underneath the safeties to get those passes, but to give Jefferson more time? Is that the ultimate goal? Is that, and perfect scenario, that's what could and should happen, right? That Kyler Murray should be that speed to freeze everybody up and to pull everybody down and get them closer to the line to get them thinking that he's more of a threat for running and then get that ball to Jefferson.
I don't think it's the ultimate goal, but I do think it may be to have more options for him, to give him more scenarios, to be able to get the ball, give more options to get the ball to him, because he is their playmaker ultimately. So it's just to have more, not just look at it down the road, have cuts where he can come up the middle, go down the seams, inside the lines, outside the lines, so you have more options for him no matter where he is on the field, right side, left side, inside, outside, short.
I agree, but you need checkdowns, right? You can have Jefferson and the tight ends. Hawkins with the tight ends, right? Tight end. Is that what you said he was?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have Jefferson, who's the number one receiver, right? You have
2 checkdowns. Jefferson, Hawkinson. That's it.
So why not move, say, Aaron Jones, who's a phenomenal player, even without coming out the ACL? Why not move him to a slot spot, and then you have a third checkdown?
That might be another option. That might be a third option. That's a flexibility, because he might be there for the passing plays, and then they might use Mason for short yardage or goal line chances, or when they're inside the red zone. That may be Mason. That's when when they have the chance, because Mason can't really catch the ball. He's not known for being a receiver / rusher, but Aaron Jones can catch the ball.
Aaron Jones could definitely catch the ball. He's I listen. The Packers. The fact that the Packers got rid of him was by far, again, fire LaFleur for that. That was a stupid ass move.
I knew it was coming. The fire LaFleur comment was coming.
Well, that's what I'm saying. To get rid of Aaron Jones, I'm glad that he got onto a team who can utilize him the correct way, because the Packers have not done a damn thing from the backfield. Right.
The only problem with Aaron Jones that I have is that he can't stay healthy for a full season.
But he didn't have to. He had him and Dylan, right? That was like the perfect. It's the same thing when they went to the Super Bowl. What, the season before? Was it the season before? Charles, help me out. Is that they had Ryan Grant, right, who couldn't stay healthy, and then we kind of had that like fill in the running back situations. Am I correct on that? Or am I off?
You're talking about when the Packers went to the Super Bowl?
It was a season before that they had Ryan Grant. That was the guy that kind of motivated them to get a different running back. Yeah.
Good Lord, man, that was a long time ago. Was that 2011?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. It's like Jones didn't have.
You're talking about Eddie Lacy.
Okay, I'm talking about skinny
Eddie Lacy, yeah.
I'm talking about skinny Eddie Lacy. Okay, I'm not talking about fat Eddie Lacy. All right, but the point is, okay. So this not talking about the Packers. Fire LaFleur, get him out of there. Get him gone. Aaron Jones is someone who should have stayed because he's phenomenal. We should have kept Jones and Adams, but that's a whole different conversation later. But the fact of the matter is that he doesn't have to stay healthy. If you have a 1-2 punch or you put him in the slot receiver, it's like you're good. You're good to go. right? It's that you're a check down now. You're not a full-time player, and he's not a full-time player in the Vikings.
Yeah,
He's
that's true.
so again, you don't have to stay healthy. You want him to, right? You, obviously, but it's not someone who you're going to say, I want him to play every down of every game and have 19 games or 25,000 games later. Um, yeah, you're thinking about that one, Charles, aren't you?
Well, I'm just thinking, going back to Justin Jefferson, because wide receiver is a dependent position. It is. So when you're a great wide receiver like he is, and you look at that quarterback room, what must you be thinking? I mean, seriously.
Well, Professor,
Carson Wentz is basically bionic at this point. You got J.J. McCarthy who can't stay healthy, and then you got that little dude from who left the Shire in Arizona, and now he's coming here from Middle Earth, trying to get you the ball. And here you are, you're a prime receiver, man. You need somebody who can get you the ball.
So I think so.
Chase has Joe Burrow.
In that situation, you have McCarthy who has the upper hand because Jefferson had a good relationship with him, at least according to the report.
Wide receivers always have a good relationship with their quarterback. Okay, they do until the day they get shipped out of town.
He'll have a good relationship until he realizes he can't get in the ball. Then the relationship is over. But you have to also think there's no really good quarterbacks coming out of college in the next 2-3 years. There's nobody coming out. So they're trying. The Vikings are trying to get a quarterback set because everybody else is set pretty much with quarterbacks for the foreseeable future. So the Vikings are still they know now that they have doubt with McCarthy as their quarterback of the future. They have doubts, and so that's why they're taking a gamble on Murray because they look everybody's up on Mendoza. I honestly don't think Mendoza is going to be the answer for the Raiders, let alone I don't think he's going to be the answer for any team. I don't think he's going to be. He may be a serviceable quarterback on a great system, but the Raiders don't have a system. They're trying to build a system. They're getting players and trying to build something, but until everything clicks, they don't have anything yet. So he's not a great quarterback, and everybody's making him out to be this great savior. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And looking at the rest of the quarterbacks in the draft, put them all together, and you may get a backup for any other teams that you have right now. So I think the Vikings are looking at that. They see this year there's not going to be a good quarterback for them to draft. Next year there's not going to be a good quarterback for them to draft. So they have to do something now. So they're taking a gamble on Murray to see if they can get some of that magic and build upon that. And hopefully if they get something from him this year, they can get him on a long-term contract, and then they get rid of J.J. McCarthy.
Okay,
well,
but
it seems like they're kind of trying to follow the blueprint of the Atlanta Falcons when it comes to quarterbacks. So right, something like that. You look at that quarterback room.
Trying to lose is their game plan here. So let's be for real. You're right, but the question is, so let's flip the script here, okay? So what happens if they do get rid of J.J. McCarthy? Kyler Murray, after one season, has a good season. Second season turns into the same thing he was at Arizona, which was awful. The guy that doesn't look at film, the guy who thinks that the fact that they have to watch film was because the color of his skin, right? Remember that was his excuse for that. When in reality, he didn't watch film. Fundamental
video game junkie.
That's
the problem, and everyone knows it.
But that's what I'm saying. So he turns into a dud because that's what he's ultimately going to, unless he somehow smarts up. But I don't think he will. So they get rid of J.J. McCarthy. McCarthy turns into Sam Darnold. What then is Kevin O'Connell doing?
It's not O'Connell. You got to look at the front office.
Okay, the front office.
It is. The GM just got canned. So, it's obvious the problems are above the – O'Connell can only coach what you put on the field. So we got to look at the front office.
Correction. He does a good job doing it, unlike LaFleur, who doesn't. O'Connell does do a great job, right? Insert Packers plug there. Okay.
This is the allure of football, though. I mean, here it is. The NFL, what's the season? Still 4 months away. Baseball has its opening day today, and we just spent 20 minutes talking about what the Vikings are going to do at quarterback. 2016. Well,
we'll get
yeah, you know, Atlanta, baby.
We'll get to baseball, okay? Calm down. Listen. But that's the question, right? What happens if this turns into a colossal mistake and on the field they're stuck with Carson Wentz? Now, Carson Wentz was great when he was younger. Great when he was younger.
No, he wasn't.
Well,
let me finish.
Kirk Cousins is still available.
He was
I know, right?
He was
I think Kirk Cousins over any of the three guys they have.
He was a great backup quarterback. Okay, yes, he did lose the Eagles or cause the Eagles to lose. Perfectly fine. But what happened if that Murray's a dud like he was in Arizona? J.J. McCarthy goes on to find a great program like Darnold did. Potential Super Bowl winning quarterback, which he could be if he finds the right program, right? Because program's key. Right now, he doesn't show it. He's awful, and I'm sorry to say that because I liked watching him at Michigan. But what happens? What are you doing then? Where's your program? So for O'Connell to take what the upper management gives him, it's you're almost rebuilding into. You've got to leave what your prior thought process was and move to something else because you have quarterbacks that, with exception to Wentz, that like to move around and not really be good.
Well,
at that point, you have to. I guess as a team, they have to look at one of these because they're not going to find anything in the draft for the next couple of years.
Right, Ty Simpson. And you make a good point because I was watching. I think it's Pat McAfee or another show, and I was watching Ty Simpson. I was at lunch yesterday, and it was like he just looks bad, right? And Mendoza. He did okay, but I say the next level, not going to be the guy. He's not going to be a quarterback that is going to excel his first year. And on top of that, and this is how you can tell that you're right on the quarterbacks, is that, Kansas City is going to get stuck with Justin Fields opening the season for him, right? If we're still talking about Fields and Wentz and Rivers and anybody else you can think of, it's like we know that quarterbacks are bad, and we're counting on quarterbacks being bad for a while. So you have to make this work. What does it take to get
when you have the top quarterbacks in college returning for a fifth and sixth year to get $4 million because they don't want to be coming to the pro level because they're not going to make it in the pro level. They have a guaranteed contract. Because they get paid down in college, they're going to get $4 million for play a fifth or sixth year in college, getting waivers to play another year. What does that tell you?
It's like they watched Van Wilder and said, "I could do that." Right? Come on now. It's like you're going to be in college forever because you're
actually, you know what? The thing is with Justin Fields going to KC, I actually like that pickup because I think Fields can get them to. Like I said, after 6 or 8 weeks of however long it takes before Mahomes gets back, I think he can have them at 400. I'm sorry, at 500, rather. They can be a 500 team. That's all they need. And then once Mahomes gets there, that can put him back over the top and into playoff contention.
I guess
he's just there as a placeholder. It's like, you play 500 ball for about 6 ball games until Mahomes comes back.
I've never was a fan of Justin Fields in Chicago, and it was not because he doesn't have the skills. It was because of our coaching. I never was a fan of Justin Fields in with the Jets, not because of Justin Fields, but because of their coaching. I think Andy Reid, especially with being back. I think they can set up plays for him, design plays for him,
right?
And he's going to look really good where people are going to say, whoa, his value is going to go up where other teams are going to be knocking on Kansas City's door when Mahomes is back, knocking on Kansas City's door saying, hey, how much do you want for that kid? What do you want for him? And they're probably going to end up getting a pretty good draft pick for Justin Fields because of his gameplay, and then he's going to go back to being a bust wherever he goes.
I agree. And listen, Andy Reid, I will, easy. You've heard me preach this over and over again. Andy Reid can develop any player that you give him, and he can do it fairly successfully, right? But your contingency, you're right. It's like, you get Justin Fields, you send him somewhere else, and he turns into your dud, right? It's like we're contending here with Fields, and the next step to Fields is Trey Lance, right? That's the next equivalent player. And so we got these quarterbacks that are bad. I'm gonna go back to Justin Fields here. I don't think he could be a 500 quarterback, but regardless, is like
he can do that in KC. That's what he needs to be. He can get them 4-4 after 8 games. That's all they're looking for. And then Mahomes comes back.
Look at his stats when he played in Pittsburgh, and he only played a small sample in Pittsburgh. Why? Right. He had Tomlin. Yeah. He had a coach that had him in a system. This is what you're going to do. You're not going to do any other thing. This is what you're going to do. He did it, and they were winning. The only problem was that they also had Russell Wilson. And even Russell Wilson had a pretty good, a decent season with, and everybody's he's resurrected in Pittsburgh. Then he went to New York, and it was over.
There's another thing about Justin Fields. I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but I'm pretty sure you just compare the photos. You can look at it online, but I think he might be T.D.G.S. love child. You look at that, the forehead, the eyes, and everything. You look up that. You go ahead and Google T.D.G.S. Put that picture side by side with Justin Fields. You tell me that ain't his daddy. They go on Maury Povich. It's coming out. Dante, you are the father.
Oh man, but it's again. We go back to the quarterbacks, and it's a struggle. And I guess Fields will do good at Kansas City.
I think he will do good because of the coaching. He's going to be well coached. He's going to be in a system where he's going to have success, and then they're going to trade him. They're going to get a good draft pick for him, and then he's going to go to a system where there's no coaching, and he's going to be a bust again because there's nobody to coach him and tell him, because he's a quarterback that he has to be by the numbers. Here, this is 1, 2, 3. This is what you do. 1, 2, 3, 4. By the numbers. Once you do that, you'll have success. When you go out there and sling it, you're by yourself. You get lost.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate again because I like doing this. Is that you mentioned Justin Fields at Pittsburgh, right? Justin Fields at Pittsburgh was obviously not good. I'm going to tell you why he's not good, because they went and got Aaron Rodgers, right?
Well, he was only there for 1 year.
But is it a coaching thing, or is it just a Justin Fields thing where he's just not that good? And Andy Reid, if Mike Tomlinson can do it, Andy Reid, obviously he's a great coach, but it's like if you go and say, I need a quarterback, and you pick up and I like Aaron Rodgers. I like his stance on, a lot of the things that he's done over the past. And I'm a big fan of, the metaphysics behind ayahuasca, though it did lead him to the Jets, and that was a bad decision in itself. But it's like you're picking up this dude, right? It's like that. I can't.
Well, remember, you're picking up the dude. It's for a transition period until the dude comes back.
There's a difference between a dude and the dude.
Yeah, you're picking up a dude.
Talking about the great Lebowski.
I'm picking him up because he can help us stay in the mix until the man comes back and takes us back into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think that Mahomes is going to come back the same. I really don't. I think that Mahomes made a lot. His workouts have you seen his workouts? The way he moves, I don't think that
Mahomes is a unicorn. Mahomes doesn't have to be the same. Mahomes is like 3 different quarterbacks in one. He's going to be a pocket guy. That's all you need is a pocket guy.
Right.
Andy Reid is a genius, and he's going to know he can't run no more. We're going to change up our plays because we're going to make it for a pocket quarterback because that's what he's going to be. He's going to be a pocket quarterback. Whenever he can start running again, he's not going to expect him to be the Patrick Mahomes of before the injury. He's not going to expect him to be that. He's going to be our pocket quarterback. We're going to protect him, and he's going to. That's why they went and got Kenneth Walker. That's why they went and got
run game right there.
Yeah, that's a run game, and that's
a hit angles like Matthew Stafford when he's throwing the ball. Those weird underhand sidearm throws, whatever. He is great at just that. The running is what gets everyone, makes ESPN highlights. But watch that dude when he's just in the pocket. He's amazing.
The kid is amazing. The kid is gonna be. You're gonna be like, what was this one? Why was he running in the past? Because that was his game.
Now you know what I'm thinking. I'm gonna think the Eras Tour is over, brother. I think that Mahomes is and again this you got to know when to fold him at this point, because you can become a pocket quarterback, but you're gonna struggle. And I go back to this is that Aaron Rodgers and his shoulder. You got all these other quarterbacks who were great, phenomenal people. And I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes was bad.
I'm gonna coin it right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna coin it right now. Mahomes 2.0 is coming.
Okay.
Mahomes 2.0 is coming. Yeah. I'm coining it right now. Mahomes 2.0 is coming.
Comeback player of the year?
Right. Easy.
Comeback player of the year. Yeah. Ink it. Get to Vegas. Call him right now. Get your money down.
Get your money. Put it in. You'll be a millionaire. That's gonna be your money for diapers right there for the next 3 years.
All right. I tell you what. I will go bet religiously on Patrick Mahomes because you said so. So.
And what Mahomes 2.0?
Mahomes 2.0.
That's it right there.
I'll pay him the ultimate compliment. I wish he was a Dolphin.
Oh, look at that.
I wish he was a Dolphin.
I'm going to say this right now, and you can quote me, and I hope you quote me later, is that I think Malik Willis will develop into a player that you will remember more than Patrick Mahomes.
No, he won't. He may be memorable, but not more than Mahomes.
Yeah.
I hope you're right, but I can't see that. I think the Dolphins do a Super Bowl in 3 or 4 years, but he will still not be Mahomes.
Here's the deal, though, is that Malik Willis, again, came out of a good program. And he went into a relatively bad program and then got into a program that was developing, except for LaFleur sucks. But got into a system that could work for him. And I think that here at the Dolphins, he and Hatley, right, will turn that program over. And I'm telling you, I think he will be the perfect quarterback.
Hey, you didn't give any love to your Texas Longhorns, by the way. They took Purdue all the way down to the wire in the Sweet 16. The NCAA basketball tournament. That big white boy, what's his name? It sounds like a disease. What is it? What's his name? I mean, no, serious, Justin. If you took your baby to the doctor and the doctor told you, "I'm sorry, Mr. Peterson, your baby has bogavitis," you would be like, "Oh my God!" Bogavitis, right? Isn't that it?
Yeah, I have no idea. But let's talk about the Sweet 16 because I think I've heard a lot about it. Now I'm going to be honest with you. You guys may not suspect this at all, but me and basketball aren't good friends, right? I love playing it, but I don't watch it a lot. So inform me on basketball. Those of you that watch basketball, that's you too.
Well, honestly, I don't do pro ball anymore.
No, we know that.
But the tournament, NCAA tournament, is something I do watch and catch a game here and there. And that was just a barn burner. They had number 2, Purdue, and number 11, Texas Longhorns. It came all the way down. I think Purdue won. There was a half a second left on the clock. Driving layup to win the game.
Okay.
Incredible. But that's why I watch March Madness. It's just that's where you see all the desperate kids doing desperate things. And it's a fantastic watch.
Now, what makes college basketball more fun to watch than, say, NBA?
because they actually play ball, and it's not about guys standing back from 30 feet just launching the ball at the basket.
and and
There's mid-range games, there's mid-range jumpers, there's guys drive to the hole. They actually
and,
play a structured game that's fun to watch.
and
The
it's
YMCA is more
unpredictable,
fun than the NBA.
and it's unpredictable.
Right.
Right, but then what changes? Why are we seeing a change from college basketball to NBA? Why can't we take the college game that we like to watch? And I admit that the only games I have watched recently within the past year and a half have been college games, right? And
Right.
it's been all right. I watched. Let's see, the last game I watched was admittedly it was like the last Hawaiian tournament or whatever. But why is there a disconnect? Why can't they say why don't we do what they're doing up here at this level? Why do we sit here to take like the 9 foot, the 9,000 foot 3 pointers?
And it's like, well, the rules are different, the skill levels are different. And I said, and with the NBA, what it came down to is it started about maybe 10 years ago. It's just all isolation plays. And you would see one guy get the ball at the top of the key, everyone clear out, and he'd go one-on-one. That was, in the LeBron era and everything. And as one of my friends said, when he stopped watching it, he said he stopped watching when he realized that the only two guys on the court who were moving was the guy with the ball and the guy guarding him. That's it. And that pretty much is NBA ball now. I don't know how anyone watches it, but I used to just set my clock, my week to NBA ball back in the like 80s and 90s. The Jordan era, Magic and Michael and Bird and those guys. It was incredible. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And just to watch, and that's one thing that if you watch college basketball, you actually watch the plays develop, the pick and rolls, you watch the block shots, you watch how they cut, and they're trying to trick the defense into to block each other. So there's actually strategy. It's almost watching like chess pieces moving and going to try to free themselves up to create a shot. Now it's like everybody in NBA, everybody just opens up the floor, and you see it's one-on-one. Might as well just sit everybody on the bench and just pick two guys. You and you go one-on-one.
Now, you're right. Okay, so I'm going to tell you
You
this.
watch an old game on NBA TV, it just brings tears to your eyes.
So, okay,
It's
so
like, that is basketball.
Honestly,
yeah, you're right.
honestly, I'm a Bulls fan because they're from Chicago, but I barely watch Bulls games. The only player that I enjoy watching in the entire NBA, and it's because he has an old school aura to them, is a French guy, Wembayama. This kid plays the game. Even in the All-Star game, he was playing like it meant something. He plays like it means something. He talks and he tells you, you ask him who's the MVP, he'll tell you, I'm the MVP. He plays defense, he plays offense, he rebounds, he does everything on the court. It's not just give me the ball, I'm gonna shoot. And he'll tell you there's three phases to the game. You play defense, you play offense, you have to play every single aspect of the game. You don't just shoot the ball, and that's not supposed to be basketball because you score, yeah, but then you have to worry about them scoring on you. And we don't worry about that. So you have games that are 150 points. Come on, man, 4 quarters, 48 minutes. What's that? Like 5 points every minute? That's not.
The last time I truly enjoyed watching an NBA game, I watched the finals a few years back when it was Phoenix and Milwaukee. And just because of the historical aspect, it was either Phoenix, who had never been champions, or Milwaukee, who hadn't done it in 45 years or so.
Yeah, Milwaukee,
that was incredible. It was incredible. Giannis intimidated the entire team by himself. But, that's one of those. That was an anomaly. Outside,
yeah, and that's the thing, really. So here's where I stopped watching basketball. And you guys are gonna laugh at me because again, it's like the Packers, where I remember the 96, 97, 98 Packers. But it's like the last time I watched basketball, like the series that stick out to me were the Lakers versus the Pacers and the Lakers versus the Sacramento Kings, right? And that was in my mind, that was in my mind, it was a transitional era of basketball, right? Because the Pacers and the Lakers, it was a good game to watch. Every game they played was something where it was like I was even me, who I'm not the best at basketball. I play like a linebacker. I did, right? Is that I sat there and watched every game and loved it. And after the game ended, I went outside and played basketball. Charles, by that street light on the next to your house, there was a basketball hoop we had right there. I go
I
out.
got you. Yeah. But you know what? That was the thing I said was when the Bulls were winning championships, and then when Phil went to the Lakers and the Lakers started winning, and what the observation I made at that point was Phil Jackson is winning because his teams are the last teams really playing fundamental basketball. That's what happened. And then Jackson is gone, and look what you have now. It's just a hodgepodge of 3-point shots, layouts,
and the other thing now is that nowadays you really don't have any rivals. There's no rivalry. There's no you have teams that historically have rivalries, but the true rivalries are dead. Back in the 90s, you had like the Pacers against the Knicks and the Bulls, the Sixers and the Lakers, and you had the Celtics and you had teams that have meaningful rivalries, and even in the regular season, when you had you heard the Celtics were playing the Lakers, that was like must-see TV because they were rivals. Detroit and the Lakers, Detroit and the Bulls, you have to sit down and watch it because it was going to be going down. It's like you have to.
Okay, so that's the thing, though, right? Is last week or last time we were here and we had Coach McAnally, right? Is we were able to talk about the Bulls and we were talking about Scottie Pippen, right? We had Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, right? Is we were naming everybody on the team. If we go back to the Sacramento Kings, right? You got you had Doug Christie, right? You had Bobby Jackson.
Doug Christie,
right?
holy smokes!
Yeah, but hear me out.
Pull that name out of.
Yeah,
name dropping.
You had Mike.
Hey, give me Ruben Patterson.
Baby. You had Bobby.
Yeah, Chris Webber.
You had Bobby Jackson. You have Floppy Divock, right? Is that I'm naming people that multiple people on one team. Right, is like the Pacers were really the only team to me that I could only sit there and go, well, Reggie Miller was on the team. But even with the Lakers, is that you were like, okay, you got Shaq, you got Kobe, and you got all these people in between, and then you got that guy Mad Dog who sits on the end of the bench every game, right?
Madsen?
Yeah,
Mark Madsen.
Yeah, Mad Dog.
Yeah,
Mad Dog, Mark Madsen, right? But the point is you can name people on the team, right? Is that now is like to me it's you have like you could Steph Curry and that's all Luke
now I can name players because you see them in TV commercials, Sprite commercials and stuff, and that's about it. I don't.
Back then it seemed like back then there was more of a connection to the college basketball than now, and to me it's like I go through this with hockey when they're getting rid of the enforcers. It's why are we changing so much? It's not good for youth sports because youth sports are now thinking they could be the Steph Curry and take that 3-pointer, and then when you look at them in the middle of a game and you go, brother, you took a 9,000-foot 3-pointer and you airballed it. Well, it's like we're not teaching anything, and that's why we get there. That's how we got there.
Yeah,
when they go to college now, they only stay for a couple years. That's the other problem. If you're a top prospect, you're going to college 1 year and out. Well, NIL, again, that may change that because they can make some money in college. But basically, the quicker you can get to the NBA, the better. You can once you get to the NBA, you don't really need to play fundamental basketball, and you get paid a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah,
so why not go there?
As long as you can shoot and score, you're in.
Right.
But this is where money gets in the way of good games.
Money gets in the way? Huh.
Money gets in the way, yeah.
It's one of the few times where money gets in the way. Okay, do tell.
Back in the day, man, when you had people having to quit these professional sports because they couldn't afford it, they were out there playing because they were playing. It was fun. You were going to go clock that guy, and that dude that got clocked was going to get back up and say, that was a pretty good hit. I've got a concussion, but let's line up again and try it over. right? It's like now, it's like you make so much money, you don't do that. You're just the superstar. I'm gonna take that
Well,
shot.
I'd say one of the things with professional sports, I remember when the money started to really start to go crazy was in the probably through the 80s. That's when it really grew up. Sports did, and a lot of money got in there. But it used to be that you would become a superstar and have to play at that level for at least 2 or 3 seasons. Then you got the big contract.
Yeah.
Now you're paid based on what you might do.
Yeah, but and
Back
that,
then, you had to earn every step.
again, Jordan
Probably
Love.
making a
Jordan
hundred and
Love.
hundreds of thousands.
They paid him based on what he might do, with no evidence of that he was going to.
Which guy was that? I missed it.
Jordan Love is that they were saying,
Back to the
well,
Packers?
yeah, I'm going to go back to Packers because
Why wouldn't you say Larry Johnson? You know, we all know about that, right?
yeah, but I'm going to talk. But you talked about based on what you might do is that someone like
Tua. How about
Jordan
Tua?
Love, yeah, he didn't do it.
How about the balls, the Lonzo balls and the Miller balls, and that they were trying. Dad was trying to get them paid before they even got into the NBA, trying to get them drafted by the LA Lakers, and they even had a shoe deal where they had the ball shoe, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and they had their own brand of shoe. They hadn't even played a minute in the NBA, and they were supposedly superstars already. He was trying to brand them before they even stepped foot in the NBA.
Yeah, but okay, so let's talk about this though. You have that idea of pushing them for a brand, for money, but ultimately the best players in the league now are not the ones raised here in America, but you have Eastern Europeans. Everything about Eastern European basketball is significantly better. And I know Kevin Durant challenged us by saying it was that's saying that something about AAU and brought in some kind of race commenters, but AAU is trash. It just is. It's how
Here's the thing.
we've seen it, but it's Eastern Europe is killing it.
What you say though makes to the point. It's what we're talking about here, and that is in the United States, basketball has broken down at the fundamental level. That is illustrated by the fact that it is getting dominated by a lot of the Eastern European players.
And that's because they're playing in that the old form, the ones where you learn fundamental basketball. You go as a team and you play that way.
Well, it's like any type of structure now because these guys play. It's like a YMCA pickup game. It is seriously. We have very skilled athletes playing a YMCA pickup game. That's what NBA is. I just can't imagine really being a paying customer and paying to go see one of those games, especially when you never know when a superstar might be out because of load management. I'm sorry, I know I don't hustle back to the other end of the floor and I never play defense, nor do I ever grab a rebound, but I can only play 61 games a year and there's 82 in the season. So I know I'm getting paid for the whole year, but yeah, I'm just not feeling it. And then you got the guy who's making $30 an hour with a wife and kids who has to save up money, work overtime, and try to take his son to the game just to see one of these overpaid jackasses play, and the guy is sitting out for no reason.
But that's my
You can't anticipate at the beginning of the year. They should put
point,
out for the fans.
Is teams
For
make
the fans, they need a schedule of all these guys who are going to miss games for no reason, and put that out there for the fans, so I don't wind up spending my money on a game to watch you play, and you're going to be sitting on your dead ass at the end of the bench, not doing anything for no reason.
Right, but that's the point, though. You go to see your sports heroes, right? You go to those games. Like for me, when I went to the LA Kings games, and I know it's hockey, but it's when I went there, I was expecting to see Kyle Clifford play. Kyle Clifford was there every game. He was the guy to go play. It didn't matter if he had like 5 black guys and his face was sideways and he had blood everywhere. He was in the game. He was gonna play, and I love Kyle Clifford because he was that enforcer, really the last one on the Kings who did his job, right? So you go to these sports games, right? If back then you were going to see Kobe and Shaq, right? But now if you go to the Lakers to see, say, LeBron James, and he takes a crying day off because he's a little baby, right? It's like, I paid all this money to see that guy and he's not on the court. How is that good PR for the team?
Right. And and back in the day with all the sports, you knew that The only time you might not see one of the superstars play is if you got like the last week of the season or something, and someone's going to be rested for that. You got that. They might not play because of last week.
And you would still see him play for at least a quarter or something.
Right. They'd suit up. They just wouldn't really play. Yeah.
They would suit up, start the game, play a few minutes, and then sit down to give the fans a little bit, and because they would rest him for the playoffs or for whatever.
Yep.
If you take LeBron James 22 years and you take the games and average him, he really has only played like 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, but you're right again. But I don't know. It's that's my question with basketball. So that's why I don't hardly watch basketball anymore. Is because it's like
it's not entertaining.
It's not entertaining.
You don't watch it.
It's not entertaining.
That's why I don't watch it. That's why E doesn't watch it. It is not entertaining.
Yeah, and it's really sad to see a player sit there and cry when he gets fouled and not get up like a man and just go back to playing basketball. Yeah. He flops like Floppy, and Floppy Divock did this, and that's the problem with Floppy.
And he got criticized for it all the time.
Now
these guys do it. So
you know, the WNBA is more entertaining than the NBA.
Yeah, Sophia Cunningham.
Man, that's a low blow right there, man.
Did you see her tackle that gal?
I'm just saying the WNBA is more entertaining than the NBA.
Yeah, no, seriously though, did you see?
Well, you would go to a WNBA game and just yell "brick" all day long, wouldn't you, man?
Hey, I actually paid for the WNBA subscription to watch them online. I watch it with my daughter. We watched the WNBA, and I was like, hey, they have it. Just fans don't know how to promote their product. But they had some pretty good games, and I was like, "Hey, this is more entertaining than the NBA." I watch.
The WNBA tries to promote, and things just fall flat because I think sometimes you get too many yes men, or I should say yes people, in the room, and you don't realize something sounds ridiculous. So I just go to 2020 when they had all the games that were played during COVID, and in the men's game in the NBA, they called it the bubble. Okay. The WNBA, they decided to change it because it's women. They called theirs a wobble. Now that sounds like Elmer Fudd. Okay? That's Elmer Fudd. Come on.
Okay, let's talk about the WNBA, right? So yeah, the wobble. Let's talk about the WNBA, right? Is that the person they're promoting is doing the same thing that we're talking about here. Caitlin Clark was promoted because she takes that three-pointer from like 9 feet away from the 3-point line. And then
Caitlin Clark can ball though. That's different.
I'm not saying she's bad. She's a great player. She's the only reason I've ever watched a WNBA game. Though I gotta say Sophia Cunningham freaking tackling that chick, because she hit Caitlin Clark, significantly cooler than Caitlin Clark herself. But at the same time, it's like we're promoting the gal that's taking killing the 9,000-foot 3-pointer.
Yeah, but she can cut to the hole too, though. That's
she's a player.
She's an all-around player. And I tell you,
she doesn't only take the long shot.
Right.
She'll take the hit too, and she'll give the hit too. So she's a baller.
And the problem that the WNBA has within itself is that in the NBA, and you have some of the players, the Angel Reeses of the world, saying this is quote our game, and we know what we're talking about, right? Our game. But the problem is in the NBA, the black players are the best players. In the WNBA, the white girls are the best players. There's nothing you can do about it. It's undeniable.
You can't.
The white girls are better players in the WNBA. That's it. Done.
As of right now, it is because you have Chris
Stewart. Yeah, it's just better.
Becker, Stewart.
And
the sisters cannot handle that. They can't handle it.
And the irony with Angel Reese is she grabbed onto the coattails of Caitlin Clark and really said, if you're going to be famous, I'm going to ride the coattails to be famous too, right?
No, she said, if you're going to be famous, I'm going to start an OnlyFans page and make my money there. That's what Angel Reese did.
What?
That's what she did.
Taking feet pictures or what? Come on now.
Yeah, that's what she's shooting bricks in the nude.
Hey, she can rebound though. She can rebound.
Can she? Well, she has to. She misses from 3 feet away. She's in perfect position to rebound.
But okay, so right now, let's segue. Okay, we segue because we're
Can we?
let's segue.
Let's see it.
Just this past week, old Tiger Woods came out of retirement. Come on now, he was killing it on the end.
Are you emphasizing old?
Yeah, because he's old, but he still looks like he's young, brother.
You know what? It's about, I think when we look at Tiger Woods, who probably is the most, well, next to John Daly, and I'll make this point too, the most naturally gifted golfer there ever was. And I remember when they were talking about, once we moved off of Tiger Woods because we knew that he had fallen off. He wasn't going to break Nicklaus' record. And they were talking to Nicklaus about, could Rory McIlroy break his record? And he said, well, he said, it's possible, but the thing is, it's about, will he have the drive and do the things that he needs to do over the amount of time that he needs to do it? And the thing is, it takes that incredible amount of focus and dedication day after day, month after month, year after year. And that's what the professionalism side of it is that a lot of guys don't have. And it turned out Tiger didn't really have. You know, he was talented, but what is it? It's about hoe chasing when it comes right down to it. John Daly, for anyone to live the life that he lived and be able to play at the level he played for as long as he did, remember, he didn't even practice. All he would do was every now and then go out, take a 12-pack of beer, smoke a bowl, and hit balls 500 yards on the driving range. That was it. He didn't even practice at all. Had John Daly had any kind of work ethic, he would have been winning majors like crazy.
Yeah, dude.
He stopped making the cut, and he never practiced.
As a golf coach and a golfer, John Daly's my hero, right? I love the fact that he can go do a chip shot, right? Have a beer in his hand, a cigar, you know, essentially next with the beer can, and do that shit one-handed and freaking boop, just kill it.
Well, from what I heard,
if he had the work ethic, man, but instead he's just having fun.
But Tiger Woods, actually, he talked about running into John Daly they were staying in the same hotel of a tournament. And Tiger Woods is in there working out.
Yeah.
And John Daly walked by and said, what are you doing all that for? And Tiger said, if I had your natural talent, I wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
That says it all right there. Daly never practiced, never worked out, never anything, and was just amazing. But that's the other side of being a great professional.
I have a confession to make, though. When I saw the headline that Tiger Woods was coming out of retirement, I thought it said Tired Woods is coming out of retirement.
Listen, Tiger Woods, man, his legacy's killing it because his son's killing it. Him and Trump's granddaughter, Kai, they're both in kind of like a rivalry. But it's good to see him out of retirement, man. He did.
Why?
What?
Why is it good to see him out of retirement? Why not enjoy the fruits of your labor? Just do whatever.
But you want to see these guys still playing because it's kind of like golf doesn't have those heroes, right? You have Scotty Scheffler, who's essentially like he's like the Tua who's just playing for fun. And you have like Rory, who, by the way, anytime we hit on the rim of the cup and it goes around, we call it, you Rory'd it. That's what we say. You Rory'd it, brother.
I thought that was called Mickelsoning.
No, we call it Rory because that's what Rory would do. Rory would freaking, and then same thing with Justin Rose. But even with golf, you have these English golfers and Irish golfers killing it. And you have like Bryson DeChambeau, who I love, great golfer. But it's like they start to break down. And so you don't have these American golfers anymore that are starting that can do what, say, Tiger Woods or John Daly could do. And so it's good to see someone out of retirement because it's like with John Daly, all you have is to watch him on his film when he posts some shit from drinking on the golf course.
Well, I still remember John Van de Velde at the British Open when he was taking off his shoes to get into the lake and hit a ball off a lily pad, I think. When he had that complete meltdown at the British Open.
But I don't think golf really needs Tiger Woods. I think golf is in great hands. You have some great players out right now. I think we're going to kind of like a golden age. You have some great guys. You have like Scheffler and McIlroy and Young and Fleetwood and Fitzpatrick. You have some great talent out there. Rose. What's that?
Justin Rose being like the dude, how old the dude is, and the way the dude works out and like kills it. You're right. You have guys that are great,
I'm
but
saying
it's like,
you have some guys. I think it's. I'm not saying that they're going to be like super great, but I think it's you have a lot of competitive players now where they're going to be challenging each other for years to come. So I think golf is in good hands right now.
Well, the problem is though, is with when Woods was playing, there was a Tiger Woods effect on golf, and that was even it brought in casual viewers. So even at the majors and things, which I didn't necessarily watch the early rounds, but what do? You get up on Sunday morning, you turn on the TV, you see if Tiger's in contention. If he is, you watch. There's not really guys like that anymore, except for the true golf aficionados really watch that. But as far as like pulling in the average viewer, the casual fan, we don't have a guy like Tiger Woods anymore. And yeah, the field is deep. In fact, that's one of the other things Nicklaus said was that Tiger was doing it against a much deeper field. He says, when I was playing, there were only like maybe 2, 3, 4 guys who could possibly beat him. Now, you look at the winners of the majors over the past like 4 or 5 years, and it's this hodgepodge of names that a lot of people have never heard of. Whereas back in the day, Nicklaus, it was Nicklaus, maybe Johnny Miller, Arnold Palmer, Lee Trevino, and maybe
There's a
I agree, right? You do like Scheffler's the Tua. Scheffler's the guy that's saying,
How about Chicho Rodriguez? Bam! There's a name drop right there.
But that's the thing is Scheffler's saying he's the Tua. He's saying I'm not really into winning. I'm just here to play golf. And the best last year at the Masters you had DeChambeau and Rory, but then it's like DeChambeau, the wheels came off the track. He fell apart, and then Rory got in, and you had Rory and Rose, who Rose managed to hit the rim of the cup, and then that gave the win to Rory. But it was like you don't have, I don't know, it's you're not like Rory is the first guy to come out of it, and you're like everybody knows Rory's name because he not because he won the Masters, but because that was the grand slam of wins. He had won everything else up until that point, and he won the Masters, and that was like, now let's talk about Rory, right? Scheffler, you wouldn't really know him had he not ran into that gal or the cop or whatever.
But I agree with Charles that there's that one guy that you come out, but I think that collectively there could be a lot of drama built into where you could have little rivalries or the who is going to win next. That collectively they can still bring casual fans into the game whereas you have little casual fans of each other and they're like, okay, let's see who's going to win, and then they watch the other guy. So there's still I think that collectively they can bring casual fans still into the game.
Who was Nike promoting? It was Tiger Woods and Nike, just everywhere.
Yeah,
Tiger Woods and Nike. Who's that guy?
So hear me out. When I started playing, I started playing, Charles. I know you know the course. You may not have played it, but I know you know it is the El Dorado. El Dorado's claim to fame is who? Tiger Woods, right? Is that
right around the corner?
Yeah, you go to El Dorado and it's like Tiger Woods grew up on this course. It's like that's great. I still suck at playing golf, but I'm going to play the course anyway. I won't look like him. But it's like
you get to tell people you played the course that Tiger Woods played on. That's what
and guilty as charged. I do. I say I grew up on the course that Tiger Woods played. Every time when I would go, it was always El Dorado or Big Wreck or Little Wreck, which are all three of the courses that he did what he played. Right? It's like, do you have that same aspect? So it's cool to see him come back, and it's even cooler to see him come back in an indoor golf setting. Which is
this kind of feels like Michael Jordan coming back and playing for the Wizards, though, man.
But he still tagged a 170-mile-an-hour drive.
I get it, but
he tagged it. So anyway, but it was good to see him come back, and I agree. I agree with you, Easy E. I think that you got a great pool of players. Like the guy that I've learned to play golf from in his videos online is Bryson DeChambeau, right? He's the live guy. I know there's the whole PGA and the live.
That's another thing that's kind of fragmented everything, which doesn't help with the popularity of the sport and promotion because you have two different rivaling entities there. which
is
doesn't help for the casual fan. Drawing in the casual fan
because it's hard to watch it. I want to watch the live because I loved, like I said, I love DeChambeau. I've learned to play from him. I've gotten way better, but I can't because I don't play the live. So I got to watch the PGA. So anytime, like with the Masters, he'll be there. But other than that, it's like I've got to watch these other guys, which these other guys are great. You have Sheffield, Scheffler, you have Hobart, and you've got other guys, and you've got you got Rose and McIlroy and Shane and Shane McGuinness, and you got the other guys who are all great. But it's again, they're not the Tiger Woods, right? They don't do for golf what Tiger Woods did for golf.
But then again, there probably never will be another Tiger Woods.
I get it, but even back before Woods, if you look at Arnold Palmer, back before Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, there's these names that were just etched. We need to talk to someone who knew nothing about golf, and then Arnold Palmer is sure.
But they stood out because they were head and shoulders above everybody else.
I get you.
You had that one guy that just stood out above. So it's like every era there was one guy. Same thing in the NBA before Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and you go back, you had Connie Hawkins, and then you had your Lou Alcindor or Abdul-Jabbar, then you had your Dr. J, and then you had your eras where you had that one guy that stood out and brought a different element.
Through the 80s though, the NBA managed they marketed all those players. There was Bird and Magic, and they marketed that rivalry. And then it was Jordan. Then you had that other tier, the Reggie Millers, the Charles Barkleys, the Hakeem Olajuwons. And they found a way to market that and put it into this whole thing. And it's like, this is the NBA. This great guy, that great player, and everything.
But the face of the NBA was Michael Jordan in the late 80s and the 90s.
Yeah,
it was Michael Jordan, the face. They just happen to be as like there's others other than Michael Jordan. We also have the Reggie Millers, and we have the Patrick Ewings, and we have the David Robinsons. We have everybody, Hakeem Olajuwon. We have all these other great players, but the face of the when they went, the Dream Team went to Barcelona. Who were they crazy about? Everybody wanted to see Michael Jordan, and they had 12 incredible superstars. Clyde Drexler, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, but everybody wanted Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I get you. Well, when's the last time you saw a golf commercial?
Christmas. What
year?
I just saw one 2 days ago. Ohtani playing golf now.
Right. There you go.
Again, though, that's my point, right? Is you have.
There you go with baseball, okay? Baseball, the Dodgers. When you talk about marketing, that's a whole different thing. And I know, being a hockey fan, okay, the NHL had Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux playing in the same league at the same time for 10 years and couldn't figure out how to market.
Figure out how to market it.
Crazy.
That's a whole other thing in marketing, and that's what this is.
If the NHL knew how to market when they had the great one and Mario, Super Mario,
the great one and the greatest one, they have both of them.
NHL today would be something else.
But
NHL today would be something else.
Charles, you're right.
We need to hire you to market golf. Easy E, you get it, man.
Yeah.
You need to be LIV or the PGA, they need to hire you to market because you know exactly what I'm talking about here. If you want to get golf out to the masses and get the casual viewer watching, as one of my friends said, he watched a little bit of sports, and I was talking to him about the way that they tweak sports to bring in more viewers, and I didn't really care for it. And what he told me, and it really stuck to this day, he said, yeah, you're a purist. He says, but there are not enough purists out there to support the world of sports.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. That's what we all need to realize.
Yeah.
It's just the casual viewer that's going to really support you. It's not the purists are going to be here. We're going to be here. We're going to complain. But on opening day, we're there.
Exactly.
But we're there. Now you understand me, Charles, is that I just mentioned Kyle Clifford. It's like, who's watching because of Kyle Clifford? Yeah. Who's watching hockey because of Clifford? Me. I'm the only guy that sits there and go, I'm ready to a Kyle Clifford King shirt, which, and that's well after they won the freaking Stanley Cup. And then it's the same thing with the Packers. It's like I'm still living in 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, and it's like we moved on.
That was before they won anything.
That's what I'm saying. 96 is the last time when they won the Super Bowl, that team, and Reggie White was phenomenal. But it's like you're not
Well, that's right. The other one I'm talking about when you lost, when you were a double-digit favorite and you got beaten by the Broncos.
Yeah. But the point is that who's like me? I'm the guy who wanted to watch the old school football, the old school hockey, and you have everyone else trying to say, no, let's move on from this. And it's like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to move on.
Well, you got to move on, man.
No,
you got to move on.
Work it to me. Give me the John Daly's. I want the John Daly's. I want the guy holding a beer in one hand, swinging the club in the other, and fucking melting it. Right, getting on the green, and freaking like swaying because he's drunk all the way over. And it's like, give me that. Give me the Tiger
Woods. Still
Woods.
beat the dog doo-doo out of 95% of the
all these guys.
I'm gonna get you a DVD player in Happy Gilmore 1 and 2 for Christmas.
Huh?
I'm gonna get you for Christmas for Justin. I'm gonna get you a DVD player with Happy Gilmore 1 and 2.
I haven't seen 2. I love 1. I haven't seen 2. I would love to see it. And the fact that it's on a DVD player, I still have a DVD player.
Oh, you should. Okay, so then I'll get you the DVD. That way you don't have to stream it. That way it's old school. The vintage game, old school, no streaming. You don't need internet, nothing. Just plug it in.
We put that shit in the disc in the machine, close the machine, and watch.
Old school, vintage.
So let's move on. So we'll talk about marketing because you talk about marketing. So we'll go into baseball. I know absolutely nothing about baseball. Every time I go to baseball, it's always the hottest game of the year. It's like 9,000 degrees in Anaheim. And I complain about it every year, and then I leave.
I'm going there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
a week and a half or so.
So let's talk about marketing with Anaheim, so we can move into baseball. Is that growing up in my high school? Yeah, my high school era is that every time you went somewhere in Southern California, you had to see that damn Trout jersey, right? Is that he was the guy who will always be known for Anaheim? Is you watch baseball? Do you know of Mike Trout, right? So let's talk about baseball. Baseball opened up. How are we looking? We saw the Cubs jersey.
How's who looking?
The Braves jersey. Let's rock and roll. Tell me about baseball. Teach me something.
The baseball, it's opening day. That's all you need to know. Today is opening day.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't yesterday. Yesterday it was just a Netflix thing that they wanted to showcase. Netflix bought out a Yankees game, and they said it started yesterday. No, today is the official opening day for baseball.
So who do I watch? I'm a bystander. I'm from Southern California. I've seen the Angels games. My family's Doyers fans. Los Doyers, what's up? Who do I follow? Who am I following?
All right, look here. Let me be objective, which I think everyone should be a Braves fan, but I'm a little bit, But anyways, hey, seriously, this is the best time ever to be a Dodgers fan. The Dodgers are going to, I think when all is said and done, Ohtani is likely going to be mentioned as the best baseball player around. I mean, the guy was just, I watch him and it's amazing. I mean, the sweetest swing, and he was born to play baseball. It's amazing. And he's a great pitcher, too. It's not like he's a player who can pitch also. He's actually a pitcher first. And he happens to be an amazing batter also. So
not only that, he's a right fielder, too.
Yep. And Edwin Diaz, they picked up Edwin Diaz to close for him now. That was their only weakness.
They picked up Tucker, too. King Tucker.
Right. Yes.
Who doesn't the Dodgers pick up?
Yeah, I know.
I'll tell you what, guys that don't gamble when they're not supposed to. That's who the Doyers pick up. The Los Doyers. We gotta not say Dodgers. The Los Doyers.
I refuse.
Hey. What?
I refuse. And I was born in L.A., right near around the corner from MacArthur Park. Okay, I'm a true Angelino. The
Los-
Dodgers thing did not
Los
on me.
Dodgers.
Not a Braves fan.
I'm gonna say this: if the Dodgers do not win the World Series this year, it's a bust.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that I should follow the Los Dodgers for the season and see if they win.
Well, it's like if you want to be a fan of
Bandwagon, yeah, jump
whatever.
on the bandwagon and see if they.
Listen,
But
I'm not a
but
bad
remember, the Titanic was supposed to be the greatest unsinkable ship ever created.
Yeah, but you should also
It had an iceberg,
you
and you
should
know what the iceberg is?
a baby bear.
hey, just
Baby bear.
just to talk about right, just so we make a point is that the Titanic, for your analogy here, is that the Titanic also had John Jacob Astor III on it, and another guy who said no to the Federal Reserve. So was it going to sink before it got in the water? Yes. Was it going to sink when they were on it so that the Federal Reserve could be passed? Yes. So let me tell you something. Is there a financial backing behind the Cubs that will cause the Cubs to win the World Series?
A financial backing behind the Cubs or the Dodgers?
Well, the Dodgers are going to have some kind of like.
Well, they got a stadium deal too.
The Dodgers, the Dodgers have infinite money,
Right.
but the monies don't win you the championship. It's the players. So,
and with that said, Toronto actually should have won the World Series last year.
They should have won the World Series last year.
The problem is, and we talk about the professionalism. The thing about the Dodgers is not that they have all the stars, but the fact that they play great fundamental baseball. Yeah. That's the dividing line. That's why they win.
What does that look like? So I have astigmatism in my eyes. I wear glasses. Charles, I'm not sure I ever wore glasses around you because I just didn't. But when someone threw a curveball at me, it went in one eye and out the other, and I got struck out because I suck. Anyway, what is fundamental baseball? Tell me about it.
I'm talking about the positional. Okay, knowing when you have how many outs there are in the game, you field differently, you position yourself differently. How you run the bases is different based on the score, the time of the game, and all those things. It's a lot different than other sports.
Yeah, it's a lot different. There's no time in baseball. It's situational. It's situational. So you position your defense depending on the pitcher's going to pitch, depending on who the batter is. If he's left-handed, right-handed. If he's a power hitter, if he's a contact hitter, if there's anybody on base, are they on first base, second base, third base? Where are they located? How many outs are there in the game? So everything is situational.
Right.
Okay.
It's like a chess game. And then the other thing is, is my pitcher a strikeout pitcher or is he a contact pitcher?
Right.
So now I'm going to play my defense has to play in a certain position. I'm going to position them to where that hitter is going to most likely hit that ball to have my defense in position to get that ball so I can get them out. So it's all situational. So that there's a lot of mind games, if you will, it's like a chess game going back and forth. There's a lot of strategy involved, and there's no time limit. So there's a lot of moving parts going. And funny thing about baseball is it's the only sport that it's a team game, but it's an individual game as well.
Right.
It's a pitcher versus the batter, which is a one-on-one, right? Mm-hmm. But then you depend on the rest of the team to help you out on the defense, and they have a maestro, which is the catcher, because the catcher is the only one facing everybody and can see everybody else, and can let everybody know where to position themselves. Right. So catchers. So it's a whole different sport. It's a lot of strategy involved. That's what I like about it. It's the element of chess. There's a lot of mind games that go into. And now they added this year an element of ABS is what they called, which is if the batter or the catcher or the pitcher, the only one they can call it. If they think if the pitch is a ball or a strike, they can tap their head. And they can challenge the pitch to see if it's a ball or a strike. If it's a ball and they think it's a strike, the catcher can tap their head and say it's a strike, and they'll have a digital format which shows, and some of them are by like a tenth of an inch right in the strike zone and they overturn it, they can have 2 challenges. And if they're successful, they keep the challenge. It's really good.
Challenging is interesting because when hockey got it, I was really opposed to challenging because I thought it was stupid because the refs had a 99% call on that. They were always correct when they called the offsides, and they started to pull that oh, you got a goal, you're offsides, right? So in baseball, I think that'd probably be very helpful, right? Because you can't always be right on calling balls and strikes. You're never going to get one right. I know people hate the umpires a lot of times, but it's like you're not going to get it always right.
Well, there's a lot of gamesmanship on the part of umpires. There has been over the years.
Yeah,
everybody knew the guys, the umpires who they didn't call balls and strikes. They controlled the batsman and the game when they were back there. They weren't there to call balls and strikes. They were there to keep you in line. And when you stepped up to the plate, there are some umpires, they wanted to let you know, I'm in charge. And, Joe West. Joe West.
Yeah.
You remember that Andre Dawson, when he went and he got called out on that ball that was below his knees, and he went and just cleared everything out of the dugout.
Yeah.
But I like the things they've done though to keep the game moving.
And they find Andre Dawson, and they fined him for $5,000, and he signed the check. The blind leading the blind, I think it was. He signed the check too. Yeah. He said a donation to the blind. That's what it was. A donation to the blind, and he gave it. It was for the umpires. A donation to the blind, and he signed the check. That was his donation to the blind. But the cool thing about the good thing about this challenge, it's not unlimited. Each team only gets 2 challenges. Now if they're successful, they keep those 2 challenges and they can continuously challenge. But once they lose those 2 challenges, so if they do not get those called in their favors, they lose those challenges and then they can't challenge. So they have to be strategic with those challenges. There are teams already that told their pitchers, you don't challenge. You let that catcher challenge that, because the catcher can see if it's a ball or a strike.
So this challenge, the coach has nothing to do with these challenges.
The
pitcher and the catcher.
Yeah, it has to be the pitcher, the catcher, or the batter.
So the batter can challenge it too. So that's
the batter. Yeah, if the umpire calls a strike and the batter thinks it's a ball, the batter can tap its head. They have 2 seconds to tap their helmet, and that's a challenge. 2 seconds, and then they stop play. They review it, and if it's a ball, then they overturn the call from a strike to a ball, and then they keep their challenge. Okay. If it is a strike, they lose a challenge. They lose one of the challenges, and then they just have one remaining. And but a lot of the managers already told their pitchers, you're 60 feet 6 inches away from that strike zone. You don't call those. You don't tap your head. You let that catcher, because the catcher's right behind it. The catcher can see clearly if it's a ball or a strike. You let the catcher manage that call. If the catcher thinks it's a strike, let them tap their head. They'll call the strike. Or if they think it's a ball, let them tap their head. You don't call it.
Okay.
And Justin, I want to tell you, I recommend you go ahead and go to a baseball game nowadays. I think you'll like the flow of the game because they have the pitch clock, which people were against. But the fact that they have the pitch clock now, so you have to pitch. Once the ball goes back to the pitcher, he has to throw the next pitch within 30 seconds. Yeah. And also, he can only throw to first base twice trying to hold a runner. Yeah. We've all been there where the pitcher takes forever to pitch, then the batter steps out and calls time.
Yeah,
they're all trying to screw up each other's timing. Then the pitcher throws over to first base 9 times in a row to try to upset the batter. And it's just, that's the things that made really casual fans, a lot of fans, just not like baseball. And now the games are like, 2 hours and 2.5 hours, maybe 2 hours and 5
okay, so it
used to be over 3 hours.
I'm gonna tell you, you have convinced me. I will watch the Doyers because I am from California. And Anaheim left a bad taste, but my family watched the Doyers, so I'll watch the Doyers this season. Okay.
You gotta love the. You can watch the Angels though; they're gonna be bad, but I like the strategy they used when they won the World Series in 2002. It's like, okay, You juice your best hitter. What we're going to do is juice our pitchers.
Okay.
And you had all these AAA guys throwing 100-mile-an-hour heat at Barry Bonds, and they won the World Series. That's the way it goes.
All right. So here, before we get to our final thoughts here, I know I'm gonna throw a curveball from left field here, and I want you guys to see how many things you can think of about this sport to say, how much bullshit you can give us. Okay. So this upcoming week, April 1st through 11th, you have Rip Curl's Bells Beach in Australia. Surfing. Let's hear it. What do we got about that? Tell me about surfing.
Surfing. Well, I grew up kind of a beach kid. I grew up in Santa Barbara, where we moved in 71 when I turned 10 years old. So the thing is, I will watch surfing if I'm kind of surfing the channels and see it on, I'll watch it. I don't set a timer for it though. I won't set my days around it, but I like watching surfing on TV and love highlights. And I remember as a kid watching from Hawaii, from the Bonsai Pipeline. I still remember that wide world of sports. So surfing is great to watch. And I know a few surfers, and surfers are a different breed. I don't really understand them, but they're cool.
Did you know that I used to surf every day? Did you know that?
I didn't.
What?
No, I didn't know
you
that.
Didn't know? And you lived next to me, and I
never saw you with a board, homie.
I would go, brother. I would go surf. I go surf every morning, and then go to school with brother. And I was a mile from the beach.
And you thought I was watching your house at 3 a.m?
Yeah, I thought you were, but apparently that's before you were running. Doing what you do. Anyway, you're right. Okay, surfing is an interesting thing because I think that it's a lot better than people want to think it is, right? People don't usually watch it or think about watching it, but it's like surfing's got a good aspect of athleticism that a lot of people don't really understand, that they're on a wave and it takes a lot to maneuver the board, stay balanced.
I'd rather watch it on TV though. To be honest, if I went to Huntington Beach to watch, Surf City, USA, if I went there when the surfing championships were there, I would be there to see the girls in bikinis. I'm not even gonna lie about it. Even at my advanced age, that's why I would be there at the beach.
Listen, brother, you lived through the golden age. You got it, right?
I would miss everything if I went to the surfing championships in Huntington Beach. I probably wouldn't see one guy right away.
Yeah, but that's the point though. But that's what I'm saying though. It's like it's a marketing thing, right? Is how do you get people to not watch the girls in bikinis or the whatever the other fun around it, and go to actually watch the sport.
Well, it's about the turnout though. Whatever the reason is people go there, it's about getting people to turn out, no matter what their motivation is. That's about marketing. It's getting the place, getting butts in seats or feet in the sand, whatever you want to call it. But it's about getting people to show up for whatever reason. Hey, the fresh air, the surfing, the bikinis, the whatever, the beach. But get people out there and make it an event.
The last time I witnessed a live surfing event was 1989. I was working at a Punta Borinquen Resorts in Puerto Rico, and they had amateur championships going, and it was the surfers all stayed at the resort that I was working at, and I would get to see him during the day. Then and the beach was like right down the hill from the resort, so we would just go down there. It was it's called Surfers Beach.
Mm-hmm.
We'd just go down there and just watch him surf.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like everyone has those moments where you're like, I would work by the beach or I go see the beach, and they'd be there, right? If you watch Charles, if you drive up PCH, often you'll find these these surfing competitions.
Sure.
At the end of April, you'll find the Jack's Pro Surfboard competition, and then somewhere around middle of July, you'll find the U.S. Open of Surfing, which is phenomenal because you get to see not just surfing, but you get to see the girls in bikinis for you.
There you go, man.
You get to see the skating competitions and things like that, and so it's cool. I think that surfing has they're doing a lot to progress the sport as far as marketing is, but it's still great. I think that people discount the athleticism of what it takes to be a surfer, and if you see these not just men, right? It's not just men. That you got some phenomenal women coming up in the CT division and things like that who are just absolutely killing it. killing it. They're hitting these moves that, to me, as someone who did surf recreationally, generally every day, but it was someone where it's like I wouldn't have even dreamed of hitting these moves that these gals and guys are killing. So I think that it's good to mention the sport on the show because shoot, man, it's killing it. We can't just
Now I'm gonna have to go rewatch Point Break.
yeah, where you find
The original Point Break is great.
Yeah, I've never watched a remake. I don't watch remakes. The
The
original
original Point Break is fantastic.
with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze.
Right,
I
correct.
tell you what, if I'm watching baseball, guys, at the end of this month in April when they do the Jax Pro Surfboard competition, yeah, I gotta watch it. Okay, if I'm watching baseball, you gotta watch surfing because I watch surfing. Easy E, you'll see me in my classroom. I will have that playing for the entire week, starting whenever with the Thursday when it starts. I will watch that through Sunday.
Let's hook it up. Let's hook it up on the big screen over there.
Oh, dude, you got to. It's killer, brother. It's killer. I'm telling you guys, surfing is the least talked about sport that's the most fun to watch, just because of what they got coming up. You know, it's just
about that's the most fun to watch. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yes, there you go. And I like, at the end of the day, it's like all sports are great. It's just a matter of what thing you're into. Whether you're into guys on boards in the water or men on ice chasing a puck or guys shooting a ball through a hoop or ball of a goal line. It's about that whole competition thing. And no one sport is really better than the other. It's just what your personal taste is, really.
yeah, it's what you're into. You are right because I think out of all the sports that I've played and that I do, right from surfing to football to even I played basketball. I coached basketball, track and field where I shot put discus, hockey, and now golf is like the hardest one to sell to people to watch and or play. Is you might find it shocking, but it's actually hockey.
Yeah.
Right. It's always the hardest one. People they would rather look at golf. They would even rather watch a surfing competition than really take the time to understand hockey. And for me and you, Charles, who have played it, I don't know. I played it my whole life. I believe you played it your whole life. Is that you look at hockey and go, man, that's the greatest freaking sport in the world.
And you know what? Here's what it is. When you get someone who, and people don't like to admit the real reasons, but people say, I just don't like it. I think it's stupid or whatever. But when you really put their feet to the fire as to why people don't like hockey, and they'll tell you, I just don't understand it. That's really what it is. That's what it's about. They don't understand it.
They don't understand it, and again, we go back to the poor marketing for the sport. It has always been marketed poorly.
Every kid, when you're just sports or whatever, even if you don't ever play a sport, but every kid has taken a ball and made the game-winning shot in the NBA Finals. We've all run the football across the imaginary goal line in our backyard. We've all hit even if you're by yourself, throw a ball in there and just hit it and pretend it's a gapper that wins the World Series. But how many kids have scored the game-winning goal in the Stanley Cup Final?
Yeah, you
don't have sticks and pucks in your football.
I did it. I did it in the back alley of the south side of Chicago.
Yeah,
we get ice in the winter over there.
We talk about winter. We talk about the marketing though. It's like Charles earlier. You talked about not being able to market Gretzky, right? Which, for me, the Gretzky is the great ones, the beer at Four Sons in Huntington Beach, right? But it's like for you, Easy E, it's like they're sitting there going, let's market Connor Bedard, who's been a dud the entire his time in the NHL. It's like that's marketing for the sport. They don't know how to market it, right? We just got the proverbial golden shower. Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right.
It did not.
The golden hat trick. There we go. The golden hat trick, and they haven't marketed it at all.
You're a Freudian slip. Yeah.
They haven't marketed the golden hat trick. They haven't marketed anything about it. Nope. And it's like, why aren't you marketing the most wonderful thing in the world? The fact that we killed the Canadians 3 times in 3 different styles of hockey. Got the men's, women's, and the Paralympics.
Yeah.
Why not market it? I just had the Penguins game on here. And it's like, not once did you see the commercial for it. Not once.
They
Why?
made a commercial.
Because it's poorly promoted here in the United States. It is. It's just
Well,
it just is.
when I was doing the sport,
It is for the diehard hockey fans. That's all that matters. That's all they cater to, and that's all they care about. Because they think that the diehard hockey fans are going to teach their kids to love it, and the kids will normally follow what their parents want. They're going to fall in love with what their friends like, which is going to be this new NBA style of game from 50 feet, and that's it. So they're gonna fall in love with other different sports, or just playing video games, or any other thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So like with golf, like we talked about golf and the Tiger Woods thing. It's the same thing with surfing. Has that same problem? Is that a decade ago you had the Rob Machados, the Kelly Slaters. You had the other surfers at that time. For me, it's like Rob Machado I met and Kelly Slater. It's fun to watch and grow up watching and understand.
Before that, you had Tommy Curran, who's from Santa Barbara. But anyway,
yeah, but it's like now, unless you're in the area, say like Huntington Beach, where you got Cool Andino, and you got I forgot the girl's name who's a part of that group. You got the guys from San Clemente. It's like you don't really know, and that's I think it's marketing for all sports is really like troubling because they don't have these guys that you think of. Like you don't have the Kelly Slaters in that sport. You couldn't figure out how to market Gretzky, and now you're stuck with Bedard.
You know how I would market hockey to the youth? What do they love? What does you love? Video games.
Yeah,
I would go back old school and copy. Remember NBA Jam?
Mm-hmm.
I would do a video game, NBA Jam style hockey, 2-on-2. All this, it's just all offense, just shooting hockey, and make it. You hit 3 goals in a row. It's on fire, crazy shots, trick shots. So just to get their attention, but it's a hockey game.
Yeah.
And kids would be like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And then maybe that gets them interested in wanting to watch an actual game of hockey.
Well, honestly, I remember a time in the 90s when hockey was really kind of coming along, and when it was when Nike was providing all the uniforms, and Nike was doing commercials. It was the coolest game, the fastest game. Then you had that out-of-work goaltender. You had all those commercials. That out-of-work goaltender was sitting there. Yeah, and for innovation. Then Nike dropped their sponsorship or whatever. They moved on, and that was the end of it.
For me, now this is probably a SoCal thing, but for me, I think one of the best marketing situations for hockey is actually and George Peros, love him or hate him, terrible skater, beat the crap out of everybody. He did perfectly in the Enforcers on the Netflix things. He said,
"I just Ivy League guy too."
Yeah, he just said, "I did what I was told, and you tell me to go beat somebody up, I'm going to do it." Is that the Violent Gentleman clothing line is done the most that I've seen in Southern California for provided hockey. Gretzky did something that I don't think people give him credit for, is that he created. I know a lot of people go, "You played hockey in Southern California?" It's like, yeah, Gretzky opened up a rink every 5 feet in the area, right? You had the 949 Center that it is now. You had freaking. Did he open Lakewood Ice?
Well, Gretzky is the only reason, really, why the Ducks and the Sharks even exist.
Yeah, he did.
Gretzky's presence out here.
That's what I'm saying. It's like in that area, West Coast hockey has been created because these guys have taken an interest in it. And again, you have Violent Gentlemen. And, you don't see their shirts out here that often, other than my brother who wears the one that he has a collab with Thrice, which is great. But it's like for him for me in that area, that was the best sign of marketing. It was like, how do we create that? Right, Peros was someone we all knew and loved.
You have to look at what the kids are. TikTok kids loving at TikTok. Make funny videos involving hockey. You have to shove it down their throats. Look at ways to connect whatever the kids are looking at right now, whatever is catching their interest, and tie hockey into it, and that's going to capture their interest. You get ones or twos. And once one of them is watching, their friends are going to start watching it with them.
Yeah. Or as one of my friends said so brutally, he said, "Hockey is a sport that never should have come west of the Rockies."
It really, yeah, it shouldn't. the only reason there's a culture, yeah, that's exactly it. And the only reason there's a culture on the West Coast, and you could talk about the Kraken and all this other stuff, but it's like we owe it to Wayne Gretzky. We do. I know the Kings existed before him, but everything else that sprouted up around the Kings was because of Gretzky.
Right.
But it was like the unspoken like facts of Gretzky, right? So anyway, we talked about Mark.
I was in the building when the Ducks won the cup, and I was in the building when the Kings won the cup the second time.
Yeah, I was in the
first time they won it. I was in Puerto Vallarta watching in a sports bar with a bunch of Canadian tourists.
All right, here we go. We need to talk about this because we have had it in our text chain for a while. And no, it's not Puka Nakua, taking a bite out of some chick, right, in the neck or whatever.
Maybe she was crime.
Yeah, which equally is funny a little bit, in my opinion. But let's go ahead and talk about the cornhole player who is now in jail. We have tried to figure it out all week. We got 5 minutes here. Anybody want to take a guess at how this works? And no, easy. It's not the armpit amputee guy, right? It's the quadruple amputee, right?
That's what my coworker said. Yeah. She said she read it. She thought it was the armpit amputee.
Cornhole player driving a car, shoots the passenger, and then is now in jail, right? Can we explain this? Did anybody else think that was some kind of bad joke?
Well, how is he, one, and how is he packing heat? And two, there were other people in the car. So could he really have been that quick on the draw that no one could have slapped that gun out of his nub before he pulled the trigger? I mean, come on. What are people even thinking?
That's what I'm saying. That all happened, and I told Easy E that when it was this morning or the other day when I was like, nobody hit the thing or like said, hey, maybe we should stop the car and
say, hey, Nubby, back it down, man.
His nickname is Sticky Fingers.
Oh my gosh. I've spent a couple days now thinking about the scenario of how that happened. And it's like, this is one of those things where it's like, it shouldn't have happened because it could have been prevented. And it's like,
I was the gun in the first place.
I don't know. That's where was the gun? Where was the gun?
Right.
Where was?
I was watching the news piece on this kid. This kid was actually a wrestler, professional player, and they showed video. He even had an article or a 30 what is it 30 for 30 or something like that on ESPN. They had a recognition for his involvement in sports. And I'm looking at it, and they show him, and he actually his nubs go up to his knees, so his amputation goes from his knees and his elbows. And I'm thinking, as I'm watching the article, I'm thinking, like, does he have prosthetics or something? But how can he shoot a darn gun? Like
that's my point. But
there was video of him at the range, at a gun range. So obviously he's pulling the trigger somehow.
They do show him signing autographs. So he takes his both elbows, like his nubs, and he grabs a pen and he signs autographs that way.
I don't know if I want to sign an autograph that bad.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's impressive, but we had to mention it real quick because I really ask Easy E. I have been thinking about this for a while, trying to figure out how this happened and why it wasn't prevented. And first of all, the guy that got shot, can we talk about, are you going to make fun of the guy with the gun? Like, are you really going to sit there and say something bad enough to know that, like, it's like that guy's going to probably kill you for that joke?
He's already dead. You can't kill him. He's already dead.
All right. Anyway, so that is it. I'm glad we mentioned that because, again, most of you probably saw that come up on your phone and went, nah, not real. Anyway, we got a few minutes to mention our final thoughts here. We have taken this conversation actually for a while, which is great. Love this conversation. It's been awesome, right?
I got to get out and run these drugs pretty soon.
Yeah, what's our final thoughts before Charles goes and runs drugs and I don't know anything else that's probably a stereotype there.
Hey, the NFL draft is coming up. About a month, less than a month away, folks.
Yeah,
Big trades are going to go down.
that's the question. Are we going to be live that day talking about that draft? Or are we gonna
We'll see.
talk about it after? We got to talk about that for real.
Yeah,
yeah.
We'll see where Myles Garrett goes. Is he going to wind up being a Cowboy or something? I wonder. Myles Garrett, is he on the move? Finally,
I don't think he's going anywhere.
no.
I don't think he is either. I think he's staying right where he
Isn't
is.
it getting hot in Cleveland?
I think he's staying enough.
I think he's staying in Cleveland.
He's accepted his fate.
Yeah,
He's accepted his fate.
Money,
My question is, who the Vikings can collect too? They probably can get what's his name of Watson when he comes back.
yeah, from the massage parlor.
Sexual chocolate. They can get sexual chocolate when he comes back.
Yeah, you might as
They
well.
can do that. Why not? It's like they're collecting broken Infinity Stones.
Then you go ahead and draft Justin Tucker as well. So we got them all. Okay. All right. Anyway, that is we got to end it before we get 2-hour mark. We can't do AI clips, and I just want to have clips for you all. So anyway, we appreciate you listening. This conversation's been great. Any thoughts? Please comment. The comments have been great. We played out the scenario of one comment that we got. And we kind of ran the gamut on sports. We've gone from football to basketball to where we go, hockey, baseball, surfing, cornhole. Anyway, first and foremost, guys, if you want and you like the Dissenting Goyim Show news, go ahead and get yourself one of these, the Unite the Goyim and Amalek hat. Because we're all talking about unity and equality. We're rocking and rolling together, right? Togetherness, Charles, is that our mission here?
Absolutely, yeah.
And togetherness, easy E, is that what we're going for?
That is it right there. That's
So let's go ahead. And again, guys, if you got a hat, if you want a hat, I got a pen and I got some mugs that were made. Go ahead, get yourself one of the things. And let's rock and roll. And I know for the sports aspect of it, I'm working on stuff right now. So go ahead and stay tuned. We appreciate you listening, tuning in, and your comments and thoughts. And we'll see you next week talking about more sports. Thank you.